Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear sister, and the message that she sent to me reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So my brother, my story, it goes on like this. I always follow a lot of channels that are from Zim because we grew up here in America. My mom and my dad, they are from Zim. And when they came here, then they thought that it was far much better for them to raise their family here in America. So whenever we would feel very lazy to pray, then my mom would always remind us some of the terrible stuff that had happened to her when she was still in Zim. She told us a lot of painful stories. So me following a lot of channels like yours, I try to understand. It will be because I'll be trying to understand my own culture, my parents' culture, as well as my mother's tongue. My mom told us that she was born in this other village where she was staying. Then she was taken by her auntie, and she was taken into the city where she started to work for my dad's parents. Then when my father saw my mom, that was when my dad slept with my mom. Then he impregnated my mom. So when my mom's auntie found out that my mom was about to get married to my dad, and knowing that my dad came from a wealthy family, then it was said that my auntie felt jealous. Then she started to discourage my mom for her not to get married to my dad. But anyway, by the grace of God, they finally got married. Then they came here to America. So when they came here to America, my mom, because of the things that had happened to her whilst she was still in Zim, this made her to become a very strong Christian woman. So I grew up in that type of an environment whereby we were always forced to pray, to read the Bible, to fast. I was okay until I was in college. Maybe it was because of all the freedom that I finally had whilst I was in college. That was when I became friends with this other friend of mine who is a white girl. And one thing that I can tell you about her, she is like someone who is always dragged by the wind. Wherever the wind will be blowing, she will be following where the wind will be going. If it goes into the eastern direction, that is where she will be going. You cannot actually know what exactly is she thinking in terms of spirituality. Today she can tell you that she is a Christian. Tomorrow she will tell you that she is a Muslim. Then the next day she will tell you that God does not even exist. So I became friends with her. Then I also became friends with this other Indian young woman just like us. So it is like three of us in this friendship. So our Indian friend, like her family's religion, it is Buddhism. She started to teach us everything about Buddha and meditation and yoga and stuff like that. So my friend, the white one, she really got interested. But as for me, I just wanted to stay close to them, but I was skeptical about changing my religion because there are a lot of things that are done in Buddhism that is not allowed in the Bible. So at first I didn't want to do that. But because of peer pressure, I ended up joining them when they will be having their yoga sessions. They just said that it is not harmful. Let us just meditate. So I started to meditate with them. Then there was this other time when we had returned back home after schools had closed. When the schools were about to reopen, we then returned back. And then my white friend, she told me that whilst she was at her place, she and her boyfriend, they had made love, but before they had made love, they had actually bought these mushrooms. Here we call them magic mushrooms. I don't know if you know them. So they took those magic mushrooms. Then they were like in that state whereby they were seeing other beings that are from this world. and she said that the way that she felt so good whilst she was making love to her boyfriend, it was really nice, and she wanted us to try those magic mushrooms. And she had actually brought with her those magic mushrooms from her place. She showed us the magic mushrooms, and she said we need to find a date, and after we would have found a date, we are going to fast first, then in the evening, then we'll eat something, drink some beer, then we'll start to meditate so that these mushrooms can work on us. So it was fine because of the peer pressure. I didn't want to seem like I was a coward. Me and my friends, we then went out and we drank some beer. She cautioned us and she said you should not drink a lot of alcohol. We just drank a little bit, then we returned back home, we ate. So my friend then said that when we were doing this thing, like what we were supposed to do was that we had to block all the light from entering that room which we had chosen for our yoga meditation. So we had actually bought these thick black curtains. We closed all the windows, all the curtains, switched off the lights. Our phones, we stored them away and we covered them so that, like, even if they get switched on by mistake, then we would have covered them up, even our laptops. Then we started to place the black curtains on top of the curtains so that no light will actually get into that room. We waited until it was like really dark. That was when my friend said we should all sit down cross-legged, then we can start to meditate. Then we started to meditate. Whilst we were meditating, that was when I suddenly saw that in front of us there were these tall beings that looked like alien to me. And these tall beings, they were going to be our guardians because we were going into this other dimension that exists, that is really close, but we cannot see it in this physical world. So that friend of mine, she had told me and that Indian girl that we were supposed to stop breathing, otherwise it was not going to work. This was after we had taken those magic mushrooms. So we stopped breathing until I felt so much pain in my chest, until I felt my lungs dying. Oh yes, I felt my lungs as they were dying. And at the last minute, when I felt that I was really dead, that was when I saw those tall alien beings. I could not even see their faces because the way that they were tall, like their faces, they even reached the heavens. Then that tall being said, "Come, follow me." So I then got up and I started to follow that tall being. When we were walking, we started walking in what looked like a forest. It was more like a dense forest. Then we started walking and walking, and when I looked at this forest, it was really beautiful, like beautiful. Then this being, it dumped me in an area of that forest whereby there were a lot of demonic figures. The colors that I saw when I was walking in that forest alone, those colors, I can't even describe them, but what I can say is that I saw a lot of patterns. Any pattern that you can think of, your triangles, your rectangles, I saw them all. And the world in which I had found myself in, it was always rotating as if it was rotating around me. Then I saw different creatures, demonic creatures that wanted to harm me. Finally, I arrived at this other place which looked like paradise. When I was in that place which looked like paradise, that was when I saw my sister, my little sibling, but to my surprise, her name was the name that I had called, because when we had started our yoga session, my friend had said that any word that is going to come to your mind, you should keep on repeating that word. So I kept on saying Jennifer, not a real name, Jennifer, Jennifer, until I had gotten into that state whereby I had hypnotized myself. So I saw my little sibling Jennifer, and when I saw her, I was really happy, because in this dimension in which I had gotten trapped, it was really terrible and I was afraid. But when she came to me, she said, I am here, I am Jesus Christ, and I have come to rescue you. So I got really scared because I knew that Jesus Christ was not a woman and Jesus Christ was not my little sibling. And when I tried to speak with her to ask her what was she trying to tell me, that was when my sibling got hold of me and I fell to the ground, and she was holding me by the neck because she wanted to kill me. And I kept on screaming and screaming until I woke up. When I woke up, she was just screaming, I want you to die, you are going to die, you are going to die. When I woke up, that was when I looked and I saw that both of my friends, they had all fallen to the ground and we were vomiting. We had vomited so much, my brother. This is the experience that I had after I had taken those mushrooms. After I had woken up, I didn't want to tell them some of the things that I had seen, but I started to pray silently in my heart. And I just said, please God, forgive me because of the things that I had seen. And I really get so scared because the things that we did is that we opened up our third eye. And I know that it is very wrong. It is not allowed in the Bible to open up your third eye. But I opened up my third eye. But every day I try to pray silently because I do not want my friends to know that silently I still do pray because of the peer pressure that I get from them. I do not want to look like I am someone who is just a stupid Christian. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by our dear sister there. We're saying that she is in America and that is her own confession. Strange things do happen in this world. If there is anyone who knows these mushrooms, you can also tell us in the comment section. Strange things do happen in this world. Apologies for the graphic that I placed in the video. It was just that so that we can understand. So I was just typing everything that she said into the AI image generator that I use. It was the one that created those images. But strange things do happen in this world.